In this chapter, we're going to start with working on the eyes of the character. For this, we really need to start with some modeling procedures and get the eyes modeled so that we can actually rig them properly and get all the kind of expression out of them that we're looking for. Eyes can be very expressive and can help tell a lot about a person. The common saying is, eyes are the windows to the soul. That isn't just the shape around the eye, but actually the eye itself. In this case, we have an eyeball that I've modeled up, and I'm about to remodel this for you just to show you how I went about doing this. One of the things that really helps tell a character's disposition or what they're thinking can be the pupil. Quite often, actually, that's something that's watched to tell if somebody is telling the truth or not, is whether or not their pupil dilates. It also helps sell something like surprise. The pupil will dilate to try and let in more light. If the character's angry, it might be a smaller pupil. So what we need to be able to do is actually be able to animate the pupil growing and shrinking in size to be able to get more of a defined feeling about the character. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide everything off, and I'm going to quickly model an eyeball for us. This isn't going to be sort of the best eyeball could be modeled. It is basically an idea of the direction you can go, since this is not a modeling DVD. I'm going to start with your basic sphere. You could do it with a lathe. You could do it in several different fashions, really, to build an eyeball, but for all intents and purposes, the concept will be just the same. I'm going to start off with some more segments in it to make sure that it's good and smooth, and we've got a nice round eyeball to work with. This is going to be the actual underlying part of it, and what you do is you build your eyeballs in two pieces. First off, we're going to need the eyeball that houses the cornea and the pupil, and so I'm going to place an edit poly modifier on top of the stack. I'm going to go into sub-object vertex and select the area that's going to be our cornea, and I'm going to flatten this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it flat and then move it back in. Now we don't need all of these rings around. What we're looking for is actually one ring inside here is going to be the pupil. The next ring going out to the edge of the eye here will be the cornea. So what we can do is we can use the edge ring, or sorry, loop method, and then in Max 7, because what we're in here, I have to go through a two-step process to be able to remove this cleanly. So convert to vertex, and then step back to the edge mode, remove, back to the vertex mode, and remove. Now Max 8, there's a one-step process there. It's called remove clean, and I believe it's control, click on the remove button, and it'll remove the vertices as well as the edges. So now what we have is an area here that we can actually go and define as a cornea and a pupil. What we're going to do actually for the animation is simply use a method of scaling this up and down to be able to dilate the eye. Next, we're going to set up some material IDs so that we can ID it properly. Spheres already come up as ID 2, so that's going to be the cornea. The pupil is going to be ID 3. So I'm just going to pop over into side here, and actually ignore back facing off, and select all of that and make that ID 1. And what I can now do is just make up a quick material. I'm just going to start with a new one here. We just need a multi-sub material. We need 3. 1 is going to be the white of the eye. 2 is going to be the color of the eye, so let's say maybe a brown eye of some kind, and of course black. Now another way to do actually the pupil is to actually delete the center portion so that it sees right through to the eye and actually has no surface to it at all. That's really how the eye is built. There's a hole through the middle of the eye that where the light goes through, bounces off the back of the retina. But in this case, we're just going to go with this system. So there's essentially our eye set up. Now you can see that we've got this rounded edge